Good morning. Welcome. Buenos dias. These are all possible words that you might say to greet your students at the start of a class period. But where do you go from there? Many teachers move to a warm-up activity, a bell ringer, or a do first activity. There's a lot out there on the internet for these types of activities. But what there's not a lot of is on what skills to focus on to get the most out of your warm-ups. Welcome to the iHistorian channel, and today we're here to talk about those start of the period activities that you do as a teacher. Whether you call them warm-ups or bell ringers or do now activities, they all have the same purpose: to get your students' brains off of the drama, off of passing period, off of the outside world, and to activate their brains for class. There's lots of ways to get that done: strategies, activities, etc. The teaching channel gives a great list of 5 ways to start a lesson. I've included a link to their blog below. But what we're going to be looking at today is not what type of activity to choose, but what skill to focus on for that activity. From more than 30 years of teaching experience and over 10 years in coaching experience, I have found that there are 4 skill areas that you should target to get the most out of that activity. The first skill to focus on is on building students' interpersonal skills, verbal and nonverbal communication with others. Building students' verbal skills by asking them questions, projecting a question, and then have students verbally respond to a partner with their response. Build students' nonverbal skills by proposing a question, a prompt in class, and then having students take a stand and having them get up and physically move around the classroom depending on their answer. Or simply to build their listening skills by asking your warm-up question instead of writing it. It's all about communicating, building students' interpersonal skills of communication. The second skill to focus on is on building students' background knowledge. Show a video clip that builds on something being taught that day. Have them process a question, answer, describe, summarize the clip. Or provide the students with a set of images, slides, flashcards with pictures, words, etc., and have students categorize or prioritize, discuss, or explain the list of images. This should lead to what is being taught. It's all about building students' background knowledge. Not a post-test, not a pop quiz, but a way to build their knowledge on something being taught that day, to reinforce it right away and to build in its value. The third skill to focus on is on building rapport. Use this time to build rapport among and with your students. Have students respond to questions about their favorite colors, their favorite food, places, and more. Not every warm-up needs to be academically related to your subject. Building rapport, camaraderie, and relationships in your classroom will enable your class to work together better during more academically challenging activities. The fourth skill, the most important skill, is to target something academically or content specific. Depending on what your class needs more practice, is where you should focus your questions. Things like map reading, interpreting a chart, making a prediction, writing a paragraph, or citing evidence. At my last school, my principal wanted us to increase the rigor of our questions that we were asking our students. This is when I turned to my warm-ups to increase the rigor of the questions and how I wanted students to respond. This way, they could practice piece by piece in small chunks to build their skills to improve their depth of knowledge. To that end, we here at iHistorian have created 2 year-long sets of rigorous warm-ups focused on developing higher-level thinking skills, higher DOK levels. One is focused on U.S. history, and the other is focused on world history, based on what happened on this day in history from thehistorychannel.com. Here's a link to our TBT store if you'd like to check these out or some of our other offerings. The link will also be below. I'm Russell with iHistorian. Have a historic day.